everybody, welcome back to Emily
and Sarah's
Halloween Horror Movie Marathon.
Yay, we did it again.
We did it on the first try, awesome. We're back again to talk about 3 more movies today. And I think these go together, kind of, because they're all flipping the genre. So, we're going to be talking about Scream, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, and Cabin in the Woods. Let's start with Scream. This came out in '96. This is like, I saw this in the theater when it came out. I was so excited and hyped for it. And I give it 5 boos.
And I give it 4.
Okay, this movie, to me, was just so exciting. I remember... because I grew up watching horror. Like, we watched a lot of horror movies. And you kind of almost get burned out watching, like, nothing but slashers and Leprechaun and all those weird, like, critters and all those kinds of movies. And I was just sort of like, nothing scares me anymore.
And it scared you?
I would say it scared me a little bit, but it also, it kind of, like, revived horror for me because it was so different. It was very meta. It was kind of making fun of the genre while also being part of the genre. So I love that. And also Wes Craven wrote it, and Wes Craven is just amazing. Like, I love all of his movies.
Yeah. Like when I found out that it was a Wes Craven movie, I was like, okay, I think I might like this.
Yeah, Wes Craven was so good. And I loved that this movie was sort of like mocking slashers while also being a slasher. So it was very interesting. I loved the mystery of the setup, like who was the killer. It could be anyone. And I remember like the whole movie trying to figure out who it was, and I kept thinking I had it, and then I would second guess myself.
And I second guessed myself a lot too. That's
because
why I didn't.
It's so good you don't know.
Asked me who I thought it was, I didn't want to tell you because I just like I didn't feel very sure of myself.
Yeah, so
I was
think
proven right. So.
Yeah. It's the same. I knew who it was, and then I'm like, oh, well, I'm totally wrong, because it can't be him now. So, yeah, I loved the way they did it. I loved the setup. I love, like, pretty much everything. There's no flaws that I can think of in this movie. It's almost perfect, and so, yeah, for me, it's just one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, and I thought the characters in this one are pretty good. Like, the problem I have with a lot of slashers is flat characters, and I feel like the characters in this movie were pretty good.
Yeah, they weren't very flat characters, yeah. I also thought it was funny at the time, when it came out, Drew Barrymore was, like, hyped as almost the lead. You think she's a main character in it, and she's dead within the first 5 minutes, and I remember going, wait, what? Just, what? What? Like, I love the idea of...
You just reminded me of one of my favorite parts of the movie.
What?
Was at the beginning when...
Oh, yeah, they were making fun of... Yeah.
Yeah, when Nathan and she was talking on that Red Elm Street, and how the first one is pretty good, but the rest of them sucked.
Yeah, we watched this after we'd seen all the Nightmare movies. Sarah was like, Wes Craven making... Because he didn't write the rest of them, yeah. So, I loved this movie. I loved the meta-ness of it. And all the stuff they talked about, like, the rules for surviving a horror movie, and all those things. Like, yeah, I love it. It was so good. Let's move on to Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Again, I love this movie. I think all 3 movies we're talking about today are 5 boos. This is such a fun movie. I love Alan Tudyk anyway. Yeah. He can pretty much do no wrong. I can't, like, if he's in it, I'll watch anything, basically. But I thought that the setup of this movie was so original and interesting.
Yeah.
The idea of, like, flipping it into, instead of the kids going on a vacation and running into murderers, like, hillbillies, the hillbillies are the ones that are just like normal guys, and they're just going to their cabin and having a vacation, and their vacation home. I love that that's their vacation home.
And then they like walked around and saw like
all this weird creepy things.
Like, said, like, when they saw the skeletons and stuff, like, well, this must have been owned by an archaeologist.
Yeah, like, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that they're like these innocent, goofy guys, and these kids that are so stupid. And my biggest complaint overall with slashers in particular are how stupid the characters are.
And they really emphasized
that. Stupid choices.
They really emphasized that in this movie.
So,
like, they were, like, stupider than normal, almost.
Yeah, although you could almost argue they're not that much stupider, but The guy running into the wood chipper has got to be my favorite thing ever. And yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved the story. I loved pretty much everything about it.
I really liked the characters of Dale and Allison. I thought
they were so cute.
That was my favorite part of the movie overall.
I really like Dale. He is adorable. Yeah, so this movie was so much fun. I love everything about it.
And I thought it was funny at the end after Dale and Allison get together. That Allison pretty much goes, those friends sucked anyway. She doesn't even
they were so stupid and forgettable as characters.
Forgettable as humans.
And forgettable as humans.
All my friends were all
they were lame and stupid. So let's move on.
Brutal ways, but, who cares?
I had better things to do with my time. Yeah. Okay, so the last movie we want to talk about is Cabin in the Woods. 5 Boos. Oh my God, this movie is everything. I remember how hyped this movie was. That Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard were writing a movie, and it was a horror movie. I was ready. I was so ready for it. I love all things Joss Whedon.
Me too.
The Whedonverse is like my home. I wish. But I love everything. So when I heard that they were writing a movie, I was just so excited. I really didn't care about details. I just wanted to see it. I just needed to see it. And the other thing I really loved about the hype of this movie was that they maintained the spoiler-free zone. Today, you still will not watch a review of this movie and find out what actually happens in the movie. Which is amazing because people are assholes and they want to spoil everything. But somehow I went into this movie pure. I did not know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind.
I went into completely blind too.
Yeah. And it's so worth it to go in blind. If you were already spoiled, that sucks. But if you don't know anything about Cabin in the Woods, just watch the movie. I can't emphasize that enough. It's so worth it to not know anything. So we're not going to go into details on this one because I really don't want to ruin it for anybody if you haven't seen it yet. But I love just about every damn thing about this movie. It's perfection.
It's the writing and the dialogue itself was
it's so good.
Very Joss Whedon.
Yes,
it is. I wasn't sure since I was going into it blind. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this because it was back before I was really into horror movies.
Yeah, and I made her watch Evil Dead first because I wanted her to have some background.
That was not good.
So, yeah.
But I really, really liked this movie. It's probably one of my all-time favorite horror movies ever.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. I love Marty.
Me too.
Fran Kranz is just freaking awesome. He's one of my favorite actors, and I wish he'd get more work because he's brilliant, and he is so good in this movie. Yeah. I think he's awesome. He plays his part so well.
And Amy Acker was in it.
Amy Acker's in it. I love Amy Acker.
Yeah.
So Amy Acker's in it. Fran Kranz is in it. What more do you need? Chris Hemsworth is in it. Pre-Thor.
And I don't know the actor's name, but Andrew from Buffy is in it.
Andrew from Buffy.
I love his character.
Tom Lenk, isn't it? Isn't his name Tom Lenk? I hope I'm getting that right. I think so. Yeah, so this movie is just amazing. Everyone should see it. If you're a fan of the horror genre, don't miss out.
Yeah.
So that's it for today's video. Are there any really cool meta horror movies that you like and that we should watch? Please let us know down below in the comments. And have you seen any of these movies? We'd love to talk about them. But no spoilers for Cabin in the Woods. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in our next video.
Happy reading.
Bye. Bye.